G'day viewers, in today's video I'm going to be doing some silver, and I've got all these contacts out of switches and relays, and I've also got all these little discs out of silver crystals, and there's some bigger things that came out of relays. They're like discs, round thick discs. These were in place of having those, that they had these instead. So I don't know for sure that these are silver, and I want to find out. So I'll be dissolving them or putting them in nitric to see what comes of it. So there's all kinds of things in here. Sometimes I had these square things. Same deal. Instead of having the contacts, they had these. So they're going to go into nitric acid and be dissolved. But this stuff here, I don't want to dissolve it, because I want to have all the little pieces of silver removed from the base metals, copper and brass, whatever's on there, and use them to put in my silver cell, my electrolytic silver cell. Now there's no difference between getting silver melted, dissolved in solution, cementing it out on copper, melting it into shot, and then putting it in the silver cell, or just using these and save myself all that acid and all that time and work. So I'm going to be putting these into only hydrochloric acid. I know some people use aqua regia, and if they put a small enough amount of nitric and a large enough amount of HCl, generally the silver doesn't dissolve much, but there are little traces of silver chloride, which I think, and this is only my opinion, but I think it's a waste of time having silver chloride, because it costs more to convert it to elemental silver than it's actually worth. Silver is only something like 60 cents a gram or 80 cents a gram. A bottle of sodium hydroxide cost me $10. Bag of sugar cost a couple of bucks. Then there's the effort involved. I just don't see the value. So I try and avoid having silver chloride wherever I can. So I'm only going to use hydrochloric acid. I'm going to put it on heat, because acids work better with heat, and hopefully dissolve all those base metals, and just leave, see if I can find a decent sized one, I don't keep dropping it, a little silver disc. So where they come from, switches, relays, things like that. This is what a relay looks like inside, and you got your pieces of copper here which touch each other. Same thing as a indicator relay. It's in your car, and so when there's touch, it goes tick 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 like that. The cars are full of relays. Underneath the hood you'll see loads of relays. So the indicator flasher unit is like this. Now these ones here, not a very good example. It's barely a little dot on there, and I think it's only punched copper through. I don't think there's actually anything on it. And I get these sometimes, and they're not really worth anything except just the copper. But there are some that look exactly the same, except instead of having the two pieces here, like two, they've only got the one thicker piece, and it does have a little silver contact on both of these points. So this is a good one. And what they look like to start with before they're opened is a black box like this, and you'll see the legs at the bottom, and once you crack the seal around here, the plastic slides off, leaving the contacts, and you've got your spool of copper wire here as well. So I'll go now and put these into some hydrochloric acid, and I won't be able to put it on heat just yet because I'm going out for the afternoon, so I'll just let it soak in HCl. But probably tomorrow I'll definitely put it on heat and see how fast I can get rid of all this base metal. Okay, so it's time to put some hydrochloric acid in. Put enough to cover it. There's already a lot of bubbles straight away. Now put it on heat. The lid on. And boil that for as long as it takes. And see what happens. Alright, so I've got all the discs and everything in the beaker. There's some distilled water in there. And I'll put some nitric acid in. Put a fair bit in because I don't know how much it's going to take. If there's any left over at the end, I've got other things I can use it on. You see it's already starting to work. I'm going to put it up on this heat. See if it can share heat with that one. Yeah, it's fine. Try and put a lid on. It's not really going to fit. I'll have to just monitor it and see if it doesn't boil dry. Alright, so this is day 3. I haven't been really doing a lot, just coming out and putting a little bit more nitric each time. I've been using these tiny little pipettes. I think they're like 1 milliliter or maybe half a milliliter, they're tiny. So I've just been putting the smallest amount in each time when the reaction stops. What I'm going to do now is filter the solution, and then I'm going to put what's left in there into this container and just pick through it and see what's dissolved, what's not. So I suspect that the glass, the little round glass things that came out of silver crystals, they should be clear. The silver should be gone off those. And some other things that were in there. There was also the 3 contacts from these bus bars that you saw in my last video, the silver one video. I put those in there as well. They're probably not fully dissolved. I'll find out. So I'm going to filter this now, and then once that's done, or at the same time, I'm also going to filter this. This is the hydrochloric acid, and I'll do the same thing once I've got the solution out of this beaker. I'll be able to pull the bits and pieces out of there and also check them over to see what's dissolved and what's not. I can use the lid from this container. I'm just going to clean in there. I don't know what that is in there, but I just want to get out whatever contacts are done. There's no point having them in there, and just leave what still needs to be dissolved. And then, so once I've got them sorted, I can then put back into the beaker whatever needs to carry on being dissolved. So those are the 2 things I'm doing at the present moment. And judging by the way this is going, it's going to take a while to filter, I suspect. I've got a dirty beaker here which needs to go inside, but it's perfect for this. The hydrochloric acid will still have some strength. I have just topped it up just a tiny bit at one stage, just to give it a little bit of fresh hydrochloric acid, but there should be plenty of strength left in it. And I may even just top it up with just a splash more, but I want to try and get it to be fully used up. I don't want to waste. I never waste any acid. If I see that nothing's happening, nothing's being dissolved, then I'll know to add some more. I'm not in any rush, so I don't need to add loads of it and get it to all happen fast. So I can see in there are some pieces that have no base metal on them left. Not many, but there's some. So I'll be able to pick those out. There's a lot of copper in there still. This will take longer doing it this way. If I used Aqua Regia, it would have been done by now. But like I said, I'm not in any hurry and I don't want silver chloride. So I'll tip all this liquid in that's in now and give it a good rinse so that the pieces in here don't have any hydrochloric acid on them. I haven't filled up my little squeeze bottle, that's why I'm using my spray bottle. I could try using I can't think of the name of the solution now. You put hydrochloric acid, no, you put nitric acid and sulfuric acid. I think it's called piranha solution. Hydrochloric and sorry, I keep saying hydrochloric. Nitric and sulfuric acid together. I think that's supposed to stop the silver being dissolved, but I know that both of those liquids do dissolve silver, and I don't want to take a chance on any of the silver being dissolved. So I'll just continue with this, doesn't matter how long it takes. Alright, there's a fair bit here, so I'll put this in the biggest part here. I might just move these beakers just back a little bit, give me a bit more room here. Alright, so now I've got my tweezers here, and I'll just fish through it. Some of the contacts have only got tiny little bits left to go, like this one here. There's the smallest little bit of copper on there still. So I've been turning this on during the day and then turning it off at night, and I haven't been putting it on very high. It's not like it's been on boil or anything. So there's a small one. There's a little bit of copper on it still. Alright, I couldn't see any that were totally dissolved. I mean the copper. There was none that had just silver. There's a few that had the tiniest little bit of copper still stuck to them, but none of them that were just silver. So they can all go back in for a little bit more. And the solution, the hydrochloric acid solution, can go back into this when it's finished filtering. There's still a little bit in there. Well, for now I'll just put a little bit more in. And it's nice and sunny, so I'll put it out in the sun. I'm using my hot plate at the moment. And I can't do much now until the nitric acid is finished filtering. Need to rinse this out and do the same thing once it's rinsed out. Check everything over. Okay, so now I can see what's in here. Put all this into the container. Alright, so that's an earring, a silver earring, so that still needs to be done. Bit of glass from the beaker that broke, the beaker that I originally had all this in. There's one of the pieces of disc. There's another piece of glass. There's another disc. These are the discs that had silver on them. That's totally empty, clean. There's another one. Bit of plastic. There's another disc. Bit of ceramic. It's one of those square things that I had in there. So there's another ceramic things, and it doesn't look like there's any silver left on that. There's a lot of these discs, these big discs that I put in, and I don't even know what they were to start with. There's some wire here. I don't know where that came from, plus one of those little discs. I don't really know what that wire is, so I might put the wire back in just in case. If I can get that disc off. Just in case that this is still silver wire, they can go back in, and if nothing's happened to it the next time I check, then I'll know that that's it. These square things, I reckon they did have some silver on them, because they look totally different now. They're all one colour, whereas before they had a different appearance to them. So I'd say they're done. Now this is one of the parts that was on the silver, the bus bar, and it looks a tiny bit different now. The back looks nice and clean, and the front appears to have just a little bit of silver left on the front. There's quite a few of these discs, and I'm not sure if they still have silver on them or not. So they will also go back in, and then, like I said, if there's no change next time I look, then I'll know that they're done. There's another one of those things off the bus bar, and that looks like it's still got a tiny bit of silver left on it. There's another disc that's clean. That looks like it's still got a bit of silver on it. There's I don't really know what this was. This had like a silver appearance on the glass on the inside, like a mirror has. So what I did was I broke it to let the solution get inside, and now it's just clean glass. So my guess probably was right, that it might have had silver on it. Okay, that's clean. It's definitely got no silver left on it, and so is this one. There's another bit of wire. I don't know what they came from. I don't recall anything long like that being in there. All these discs will go back in, because I don't know about those. They could be solid silver, or they might not. They might have had a small coating, which is probably already gone. I don't know. I'd say most of this is done. There's some more of those discs. Not discs, the round, well, the discs, but the round things like that one there from the silver crystals. Another one of those things off the bus bar. I'm not sure what this green, looks like green filter paper. Not sure where that's from. So there's not a lot to go back in. It might be all done. So I'm just going to have a good look at these discs, and then next time see what they look like. Chances are they're not going to get any better. Alright, so that's an orange square thing with a little bit of something still on it. And the other square one that I pulled out was clean. So this might still have something on there. Alright, so I found one disc here from the silver crystals, which still has some silver on it. Not sure if you can see that. A little bit of silver still on there. That's the only one that I've seen that looks like it still has silver. The rest of them are all nice and clean. So this is all rubbish in here. Bits of glass, and that's about it. Just these little square things, whatever they're from. I don't recall, but I'll get those out and put those back in anyway in case. I know I did put some resistors in there. Alright, so the rest of this can get thrown out. I'll just pour that liquid into there. Now I can put this in the rubbish, it's no good. Oh, there's one more disc here, look. There's silver still on it. There's two there, but only one of them's got the silver. See, that one's totally clean, and this one still has the silver on it. Not sure if you can see that. See, it still has a bit of silver on it. So this is rubbish, and what's in here is rubbish, and that can go back in. We're nearly done. So that's with the silver, and then once that's finished and I've gotten everything out of it, and if nothing else happens to these, this liquid here can be get the silver dropped out of it. Maybe the reason why there was no more reaction is because this is all no good anymore. Maybe it's finished. I don't know, but I didn't want to keep adding too much nitric. Then I have a problem of being excess nitric in there. So I wanted to, when the reaction stopped, before I added any more solution, I wanted to have a look at all this. So now when I put it back in the beaker, I will add a little bit more nitric acid and see what happens. So there's that disc. So I'll put a bit of water in there and some fresh nitric at the moment while I'm waiting for that to filter, and just see what happens. Maybe nothing will happen. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of water in there. Don't need much. And a little squirt of nitric acid, and just see what happens. I know there's no reaction yet, but it is cold. It's not a hot solution yet. Nitric works best over 60 degrees Celsius. It's better to be up around the 80 mark. So I'll put this in the sun as well. This can sit in the sun, both of these, and see what happens. But this is going to take quite a while, and that's okay. Doesn't matter how long it takes. I haven't got anywhere near enough silver yet to make the silver cell. I mean, the silver cell's made, but I'm talking about to get it running. So, you know, it's not like I'm depending on this straight away. I need a lot of silver to make the electrolyte. So, this can just take its time. It's fine. This is starting to go cloudy, so it might be doing something, but I don't know. I can't see a reaction in there. And I'll rinse this out and get rid of this. And okay, nothing more to show until, well, there's a disc with some silver that I missed. You can get in there. Nothing more to show now until something happens with one of these. So these are the silver crystals I was talking about, in case you're not aware. And someone asked me how I get the discs out in good condition. So what I'm holding is the base, and then see if I can turn it around. I don't want to damage it now. I've got it out in one piece. They're very fiddly, especially when you've got fat fingers like I got. But there's the disc. and I'm not entirely sure if the wire holding it in is silver as well. I don't know. I just know that the plating on there is silver. And then this is the lid that come off. Now these lids are copper. They may not look like it, they're tinned copper. So they go in a dirty copper pile. Now what I do, I don't always succeed in getting them out unbroken, but you get your wire cutters and you want to go as far up to the back as possible and just gently crimp it. You don't want to squeeze hell out of it, and just stop as soon as you start going through. And on this side here, it's come through. Of course I dropped it. As you do. So now you grab hold of the base and let me drop it again. Better with a pair of pliers, but I don't have any pliers. But grab hold of the base, and then with my thumb, see how I'm bending the top back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, until it snaps off. You could try and cut it through, but if you want to keep the disc in one piece, this is what I do. Then I open up the top, just gently squeezing on the ends. You don't want to open it too much and squash it back the other way, because by cutting through it the first time, I've crimped down hard on it, and you want to try and get it to come back up. So it almost snapped off now, very close. I've never really succeeded in getting them out whole like I did with that last one. Like when I say whole, I mean still attached to the base. That was a fluke, the last one. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. No, it's come away. So a little bit of wire there. It may be silver, but it's very hard to bend. Like, I don't think that that's silver, so I would throw that one out. But anyway, haven't failed, because the top should still be in good condition. It should fall out. There you go. By crimping this back open and not having it squashed down hard like it was, it's allowed the silver disc to come out nicely. So this is, again, this is copper, alright, so keep that. Let's see if I can get hold of this with these without cutting it, because it's like glass. There's the silver. So that goes there. Try and do another one. So I'm right-handed, so I have the top of it facing to my right, and I put the clippers all the way down to the back. And just squeeze, but as soon as you feel it start going through, stop. Like that. You could go all the way if you wanted to, but I find it better to stop there. And then just try and open up the lid again. See how I'm just opening it back up again? And then bending the top back, forth. I normally use my little clippers, but don't know where they are. Oh, there they are. These little clippers are much easier to hold on to it with. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Now it's free, and now the things come off. That's okay. All we're worried about anyway is the disc. Sometimes they come out broken, but again, this one's come out in good nick. Doesn't really matter if they break, but just like someone asked me how do I do it, so there you go. I'll do one more, and I've got another 2, 4, 5, 6 to do, 5 something like that, so I'll do all these off camera. Alright, so right up to the bottom, top of it facing out to my right. I don't use these small cutters to cut here for the simple fact that they've got a very weak jaw, and those jaws snap real easy. And because I've got to put a bit of force into this, I don't want to break them. So I just cut through it like that. This one cuts through very easy. Some do, some don't. And it looks like the disc is already trying to make its way out. This is just like some sort of material lining inside the copper. There's the disc. Copper. The second only time I've ever got it out complete. When I say complete, I mean attached to the base still. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to cut it off the base. I don't want the base. The base is steel, so now I hold on to the silver, cut the base free. See how that's stuck to my pliers, magnetic. See? So it's no good. There's my silver, and I'll cut the base off this one as well. Very fragile. And some of these have got a lot of silver and some have only got a little bit. If you look at this one here, it's only got that little part through the middle. Whereas these ones, a big solid disc of silver. So it's pot luck, and I have seen, not very often, but occasionally, once in a blue moon, I've seen gold coated ones. So instead of having silver, it's got gold. They're very far and few between, I can tell you, and I don't remember what it came out of, sadly. Oh, that one was hard. So the bottom fell on the floor, and the silver's come out broken. But that's alright, doesn't matter. Two bits there, and the rest of it's still in the base. This is why I said you've got to open the base up, see how it's squashed. Yeah, it's nice and open. The rest of it must have fell on the floor. So there are fiddly ones, but as you've seen, I did 5 and I got 4 of them right, so it's not bad, odds. Alright, so I'll carry on with these. I just wanted to show you what the silver things were in case you weren't sure what I was talking about. Alrighty. Okay, I've got as much out of that nitric solution as possible. All the silver's dissolved. I got to the point where I was using extra nitric and nothing happened. So it's filtering now, and I've got most of it in there with a chunk of copper to filter out to drop the silver. Now this is the hydrochloric acid, and it looks to me like I'm down to just silver. I won't know until I can pour this off. I'll pour off most of it now and have a look. I can see a tiny bit of copper still, but not much. Here comes the hail again. Alright, so I still need more hydrochloric acid. It's hailing at the moment. Little hailstones, I don't know if you can see them bouncing off the tin. Now I'll put some more hydrochloric acid in there and let the process start again. I'm almost there. This is the nitric acid that I boiled the gold border oscillators in. As I've filtered it, and this is the liquid, and I've just put some hydrochloric acid in, and it seems we've got silver. So there is silver in those. I never thought there would be. Normally I would cement it out on copper. I couldn't find a small beaker to do a little test, so since I've got some silver chloride in there, I might as well just keep going. I'll let that settle before I put any more in, because there's no way of knowing if there's more silver coming out. But if I let all this settle and come down to here, there'll be some clear liquid, and then I'll know when I pour more in there if I'm getting more silver chloride or not. These are the silver contacts. There's probably a quarter of what's in there has copper still. The rest of it is all just now silver contacts. And I could go longer to get rid of that copper, but honestly that's fine. The silver cell will sort that out anyway. So I'm going to call it there. There's not really much more to say. You know, I could just keep this going for another week or so and just get rid of more copper, but that's fine. I just didn't want all of it to be in there as much as what there was. I've reduced it well and truly by half. I definitely think there's only about a quarter of them in there that's got copper on. When you look at the bottom, you can see all the silver contacts. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe and hit the like button. Share it with your friends, and I'm going to dry this out and put it aside to go in my silver cell. This will fit nicely just in the little container on top, and yeah, there's no point in melting it in the shop when it's already in small pieces like that. Alright, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.